What's up, y'all? It's your favorite EL educator, Miss Winsley, and I'm back for this week's grammar shot. Remember, saving your grammar one shot, one rule, one lesson at a time. This week's grammar shot is all about the two most underutilized punctuation marks, parentheses and brackets. So parentheses and brackets are literally used to add extra information for the reader in the text, either by way of applying the extra information or making it easier for the reader to understand. Focusing first on parentheses. First off, it's from the Greek word parrot, meaning placed aside or inside. So it's where you take that extra information and you place it in between two parentheses. And this can be done anywhere in or around a complete sentence, but it must be a complete sentence. Now, that parenthesis material can go in the middle right after the subject, or it can go at the very end, and it can even be a complete sentence in itself. But if you're going to have a complete sentence with parenthesis information, do you really need the parenthesis in the first place? Now, those of you that are my comma ice cream sprinkle folks, the ones that are always using commas wherever, you want to make sure that you remember that no commas are needed before or after the parenthesis material. So literally the parenthesis is almost serving as the comma itself. So now let's look at two examples of using parentheses. The first example is where I literally have the extra information in the middle of the sentence. See timestamp 355 for more help. In the second example, however, I have the parenthesis, the extra information as a complete sentence. Is that needed? Yes or no? Now moving on to brackets. Of course, we know that brackets are going to add that additional information. So sometimes a writer will use a bracket within information that's already in parentheses. So it's bracketed information already within a parenthesis. So, however, if you're going to do that, place bracketed information in something that's already in parentheses, you might as well just rewrite the sentence so that you don't have to use the brackets. You just have that one set of parentheses. However, in my opinion, the most important use of brackets is when you want to add additional or clarifying information when you are using quoted material in a written response. So let's take a look at the example. So it says the mayor said in his speech to the city council last night, I feel that it will greatly help the economy of this city. Now, I, as the reader, don't know what it is. The writer knows this. Therefore, to make it easier to understand or read the quoted material, in brackets, they put that extra information that I, as a reader, need, aka identifying what it is. The writer, having read the entire text, knows that it in the mayor's quote is referring to the Amazon facility. Therefore, they place it in brackets so that we now know what it is referring to and we don't have to guess or make inferences or add any kind of conjecture. So let's look at a couple examples that use parentheses. See if you can figure out where the parentheses go. In the first example, I've already given you what the extra information is. Therefore, I know I need to put a parenthesis after hours and after left. However, I could, if I wanted to, rewrite it to make two separate sentences. Now, the second example is a little tricky. So if we read it, please look at page 75, the figure of the dinosaur bottom left to see the complete skeleton. That's a lot. So I know I have some additional information. So I know that please look at page 75 to see the complete skeleton is my complete sentence. So therefore, the figure of the dinosaur bottom left is my extra info. However, in this sentence, to make it correct, I got to use parentheses and brackets. I'm going to put parentheses after 75 and after left, and then I'm going to put a bracket after dinosaur and after left. However, doing all that just takes too much time. I literally could rewrite it using my own personal style and then essentially just add a couple of commas. So check out what I'm doing here. So as you can see, I'm adding a comma after page 75. Therefore, I'm almost making the figure of the dinosaur a non-essential phrase. Therefore, allow me to put the parenthesis after bottom left. That's one way I could do it. Another way is still putting a comma after 75, but also putting a comma after left and then putting bottom left in parentheses. This is completely up to you. It's your own writing style. You just want to make sure that you're using the punctuation correctly. The third one is easy. Uncle Morris, 1899 and 1990. I'm giving the extra information of when Uncle Morris lived and when he died. So to provide context. And then last but not least, this is going to be using brackets. So the president was quoted as saying they. Who is they? We know they is the Senate. Therefore, in order to make this quoted material more understandable, I have to add a bracket around the Senate. All right. And that is all we got on parentheses and brackets. See you next week for your next grammar shot. What's good? Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you learned something and I hope you had fun watching it, just as much fun as I had making it. Make sure you tune in next week for a new video. And hey, go ahead and like, share, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you next time. Adios.